Hey, all my Virgo friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer, angel therapy practitioner, Reiki master, and empowerment coach. And I'm here today with your February 2023 monthly horoscope. These horoscopes are based on whole sign Western astrology. So I am focusing in on Virgo rising. When I talk about that, what house the aspect is affecting, it's on Virgo rising. If you don't know your rising sign, you can go to any one of the free birth calculators on the internet, and you just need your exact time of birth as well as your location, and it will give you that information. I also suggest you check your moon and your sun to get a good picture of how the month is going to play out for you. So here we go. We start on February 4th, where the moon is in Leo at 6 degrees, which is Leo is your 12th house, making an exact trine to Jupiter in Aries in your 8th house. And here I feel as if this isn't a day where you're just going to want to be by yourself, Virgo. I feel as if, the 12th house represents the bedroom. It represents dream time, time alone, where we do things that I would have to say, I thought like the crossword puzzle. That's how I perceived it, because having your 12th house be Leo, it would be playing games or spending time alone with things that you enjoy. And trining Jupiter in Aries in the 8th house kind of gives me this feeling of, I just want Aries being the loner, Jupiter expansion, and the 8th house transformation. I think this is a day when you may just feel at ease, giving yourself permission to be all about you. Now, we also have a couple of what are tense aspects, but at the same time, I think that the squares here are kind of supporting, whether you believe it or not in the beginning, this idea of what the moon and Jupiter are giving you, this opportunity to put yourself in the space of the first priority of the day, being more focused on what brings you relaxation, a peace of mind, a sense of recalibrating, rejuvenating. Venus is at 10 degrees Pisces in your 7th house, squaring Mars at 11 degrees Gemini in your 10th house. So here we're seeing Venus in your house of partnerships, cooperation, contractual situations, but the 7th house also rules peace and diplomacy and harmony and a sense of cooperation. The 10th degree for me is the Capricorn degree. It's a building energy. And I think this is where you get to build a sense of feeling that Pisces energy. I want to spend time. I want to recalibrate. I want to feel a sense of harmony. I want to feel a sense of peace. And I think this is about coming together with yourself. Again, the tension, the square with Mars in the house of Gemini is in your 10th house, no less, feels as if that's the tension comes from, I know what's expected of me. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is your natural ruler. The 10th house is a 1 and a 0. The 11th degree, there's a lot of mercurial thinking energy here. And the tension is what I know others want from me versus what I require to self-care at this time. And I want to encourage you to self-care, because in that moment, you will be, if you honor that moment, you'll be better ready to step back out into what is expected of you in the way of career, the public eye. The 10th house is very visible. It's, you can be a stay-at-home mom, and yet you could be very visible to other people in the mom job, like when you go to the school and you pick up your kids. So I don't want you to just think of it as going to a place of brick and mortar or the place where your money is made, because I think it's a little bit bigger than that. Uranus is at 15 degrees Taurus in your 9th house, making a square to the sun at 15 degrees Aquarius in your 6th house. This is just for this day. And again, there's this Geminian energy at the 15th degree. So you're really getting an opportunity to see your thought process. Where do I default to what is expected of me, where I have duty, where I have committed to being of service to others, and now giving yourself maybe a little bit of permission to step back and put yourself at that priority. Virgo also rules health, and our stress level affects our physical health. So I think honoring this trine between the moon and Jupiter today and liberating yourself a little bit, Uranus, liberation. I'm really kind of stepping into the idea of this isn't about a physical move, it's about an interior shift. And I think that's what we're seeing overall in the month of February. Uranus representing the higher octave of Mercury, and Mercury being your ruling planet. Mercury has a lot to say this month. Anyway, so if you feel this little bit of tension, I think there's also an opportunity for you to say, you know what, sometimes when I self-care, I'm actually better, better in a way of thriving, feeling vital, feeling enthusiastic about moving forward with what is expected of me in the way of my work life. On the 5th, we will have a full moon in Leo, which I'm going to do a separate video on. On the 9th, Mercury, your ruling planet, is going to have a very intense conversation with Pluto, as they will be in an exact conjunction at the 28th degree. 28 reduces down to an 11. This is in your 5th house of enjoyment. Capricorn's your 5th house of enjoyment. And I want to offer it this way, because what I'm seeing here is Virgo is a doer. Virgo moves very quickly. And I don't necessarily mean physically, but we think about Mercury zipping around the zodiac, dispensing information. You know, it represents reading, teaching, writing, speaking, my neighborhoods, my siblings, my community. I mean, there are so many things that Mercury represents. So here, at this time, again, Virgo, I think that Pluto's asking, what do you need on a deep level? I believe that Pluto is the psychological platform with which we all actually take our actions on, that the unseen psychology of others. Recently, we've experienced people, there's that commercial on TV, you know, where the person puts up the mask and the mask is smiling, but behind the mask, they're feeling depressed. Pluto would rule what's behind the mask. So here, when it's having an intense conversation with lighthearted Mercury, it's asking Mercury, what do you want to build in the way for yourself, for enjoyment moving forward? Because Pluto is breaking down old structures that don't serve us, where we've been repressed or limited. And this is in your 5th house of self-expression, enjoyment, hobbies, entertainment, pleasure, the conception of children. And if you are a Virgo that is looking to birth children into this physical experience, I also want to offer you this idea, because the transits that we've been going through over the last few years have been extremely challenging. And when we take a snapshot of our birth time, those transits see us and they present the landscape for what we have chosen to walk through. So if you've been challenged in conceiving or bringing children forth, you might consider that the child, the soul that will inhabit that physical experience, is waiting for the transits to lighten up and to give us more forward motion. Because in February, we are starting to see all the planets moving forward. Things are moving very quickly. We won't go into a retrograde again until Pluto goes retrograde. And I think that's in May. I don't have that note in front of me. Okay. Then on the heels of this conversation between Pluto and Mercury at 28 degrees, what are you thinking about? We see Mercury move into Aquarius, your 6th house. This is where I feel like Mercury is the lower octave of Uranus. So Mercury dispenses information on the physical plane, while Uranus goes out into space and considers, you know, thoughts and concepts that, you know, we don't think of necessarily exclusive to this human experience. So here, I think in Aquarius, Mercury is starting to give you, Virgo, an opportunity to reassess how you spend your work life, how you're dealing with your health. Aquarius rules the nervous system. And I have been shown by spirit that some of the anxiousness that is associated with Aquarius is because they're trying to fit into a human structure that really isn't aligned to the innovative part of themselves, to the genius and the brilliance within Aquarian energy. So now I'm thinking that Virgo, when Mercury enters Aquarius in your 6th house, you're going to spend the next few weeks really assessing and recalibrating and observing if the things you're doing in your 6th house energy, this is your mental health, your physical health, your work life, even your pets. This is also an energy where I feel as if there have been changes or there have been shifts in the work, in the works already. There have been things being stacked up into the universal pipe for you to extract. And it doesn't necessarily mean it has to be a physical shift to something different, but a perception shift that allows you more ease and more enjoyment. All right, then we go into February 15th, where Venus and Neptune are conjunct at 24 degrees Pisces in your 7th house. And again, this is the 7th house is contractual relationships. And while that can be marriage partnerships, it's also business partnerships. So I feel like there is an opportunity to really spiritually dig deep into what your self-worth is, to capitalize on any concepts that you have been studying or processing. I'm a big fan of Abraham Hicks. I absolutely believe in the divine laws of the universe, and I apply them in my physical life. So here, I think that this conjunction is giving you an opportunity to really assess that, as Venus represents my money, represents my self-worth, represents my sense of comfort, represents my family history, which also affects my sense of self. And conjunct Neptune, I feel like this is an opportunity at 24 degrees, the Piscean degree, to really look at all of this from a soul's perception. Where has the disruptive energy in my life experience served me to stretch and reach for things that I might not have done? Permissions I give myself to feel at home and to take care of myself, because there is a square to the moon at 25 degrees Sagittarius in your 4th house. This is going to be, not a very long square, but it can be a potent one, as it will task you on some level to be brave and to be. The 25th degree is the Aryan degree. And that's about really saying that, if I'm always of service to someone else and I'm not of service and putting myself and my health and my mental health as a priority, am I really of service to others, and about feeling at home in some way? And Sagittarius represents my belief system. Who am I? Why do I matter? What's the point of this earthly experience? There are many other things that Sagittarius represents, but here I'm really focusing as an intuitive astrologer to what the base is, what is the ground floor of my manifestation, and that is my belief system. Everybody takes actions on their beliefs, and that sets up in a momentum that kicks in the laws of attraction and the other laws of the divine universe. Okay, then we go on the 18th, the sun will enter Pisces, again, your 7th house. And on the next day, the 19th, there will be a new moon at Pisces at the 1 degree in your 7th house. This is a series of new moons. A series of new moons at the 1st degree and the 2nd degree. And then we're going to have a new moon in Aries at the 0 degree. So this is an opportunity, again, over these last few months to plant the seeds for new thoughts at that 1st degree, which is courageous and brave and a hero. That Aries degree at the higher vibration is heroic, and it's pioneering. So to me, this is very, very powerful. And again, I'll be doing a separate video on that. On the 20th, Venus will enter Aries in your 8th house. I always think Venus gets a little feisty in Aries. She's full of passion. She's full of spunk. And here in your 8th house, this is, I think, again, here we are heading at the end of February, I feel like what I've been thinking about, what I've been experiencing, what I've been observant of, not judgmental of, not critical of, but just using it as a piece of information to decide whether or not it works for me or not. Here she starts to really cook with gas. She's wanting to transform that sense of self-worth, and she's asking herself, what's important to me? Because the 8th house is a house that also involves other people, other people's money. It involves death and rebirth. It involves sex. It involves the occult. And the occult is just a term that humans have given for spiritual tools that support our manifestations. So I think this is great. On the 25th, Venus will be at 7 degrees. Jupiter will be at 11 degrees, and Chiron is at 13 degrees Aries, again, in your 8th house. Here, I feel like we're watching ourselves come into this conjunction of Venus and Jupiter that's allowing me to realign my belief system. And in doing so, just the slightest shift in awareness. Oh, this is a habitual thought I don't deserve, or this will be hard, or I have to work hard in order to. Just the awareness of thoughts like that will start to create a shift in your experience, which will allow the Chiron energy as it transits Aries to transform to the gift. At that point, Chiron will be at 13 degrees. This is another Aryan degree of bravery, courage. This is not about resentment. This isn't about the lower octaves of the Aries energy. This is about the self. This is about the passion that Aries offers us and what Jupiter loves. Jupiter, in its expansive energy, it gets excited about passion. It gets excited about expansive ideas and new ways of thinking. And it's at the 11th degree. So this is, by the time we get into March, we'll see the conjunction, and I'll address that more succinctly in the March video. But here we're starting to see it tee up, and an awareness of that gives us an opportunity to be intentional. On the final day of the month, the 28th, Mercury will be at 27 degrees conjunct Saturn, 29 degrees in Aquarius, your 6th house. The 27th degree is not only reduces down to the number 9, which is the Sagittarius degree, but it is the culmination of a cycle. The culmination of a cycle of small thoughts, potentially, thoughts that have anchored you into that duty, that sort of putting yourself behind others, what's more important. And I feel like Saturn here at the 29th degree is at the anaretic degree. 29 also reduces down to an 11. And here we are in the 6th house of enslavement, and I get to liberate myself from enslaved thoughts that don't serve me. This is the Aquarian age in action. When we move into the future, it won't be necessarily just about flying cars and space travel and exploration. It will be that we are aware of our thoughts, and that our thoughts are actually things that kick into the laws of the universe. And when we start to perceive each other, we won't see one person being lucky and one person being unlucky. What we will see is their point of attraction by their focused thoughts. So rather than feeling sorry for those that are underprivileged, we will rather want to help lift them up to a place of awareness and co-creation. And in that respect, we will all be magicians. And that's kind of a fun idea. All right, Virgo, that's it for me for February 2023. Please join me on Sundays live, 11 a.m. Pacific time with, that's where we look at the week ahead's transits, and I do readings and get the angels' advice for traversing those transits. So I look forward to seeing you there. Please like, please subscribe, please hit the notification bell so you know when new content comes out, because I'm feeling quite prolific lately. All right, everybody. Peace out.